everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lucy and in today's video I am so excited to be sharing with you my autumn TBR. So it's finally here, like we are finally in the month of September. I am so happy and relieved by this because if you know me and if you've been watching my channel for a while, you will know I am peak autumn girl basically, and this is really where I feel the most kind of productive, and I feel like my channel really just becomes an explosion of autumn coziness. So do subscribe if that sounds up your street and you want to see more. So I always love doing an autumn TBR because I feel like my reading really changes in the autumn. And I tend to read darker books, I tend to read a lot more fantasy, a lot more kind of like, not horror, but kind of a bit more like gothic books, I guess. I'm not really the biggest horror reader, so if you do know any good horror books, recommend them in the comments below. So let's just get cracking on the book, shall we? So the first book is a book that I have had on pretty much like every TBR I've done recently, and I still haven't read this book yet. So I thought autumn would be the perfect time to read this book because it is Book of Night by Holly Black. So this is Holly Black's debut adult novel, and this special proof was kindly sent to me last year from Del Rey. How beautiful is this? I mean, stunning. I mean, I'm so excited for this book. However, I have been seeing a lot of mixed reviews for this book, and I'm trying to go into this with like very limited expectations. So if you did read this book, let me know your thoughts of it down in the comments below. This was originally released in May, and you know, I don't really know a lot about this book apart from the fact that it is very dark. It's an urban fantasy, I believe, and it's Holly Black's first adult book. So I know that this is supposed to be quite dark and gothic, and honestly, I am digging those vibes for autumn, so I really want to read this as the nights are getting darker, and I will hopefully be reviewing this on my channel very soon. The next two books I really want to read this autumn are part of a series, and you may kind of recognize this as like the TikTok book, and it is The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. So I don't know anything about this book series, but I was recently sent a proof copy of The Atlas Paradox, which is the second book in the series, and honestly, like, I just know that I need to read this. So I've been told that this is a dark academia book series about magicians, I believe. I'm not really sure apart from that what the main crux of the book series is, but I just know that dark academia and magicians or some form of magic is like the perfect reading material for autumn. So I'm really looking forward to picking this up, seeing what the hype is about. So I'm gonna read book one. I'm just waiting for the paperback to come out for that one, so it will match my kind of paperback proof of The Atlas Paradox. But I'm super excited about these books, and this proof actually comes out in October. So the second book comes out in October. I'm hoping to read book one by then, and then I'm gonna hopefully do a reading vlog, like reading them both maybe. So I will hopefully have a lot more to say about this book closer to autumn. Now, I feel it wouldn't be autumn without some thrillers, right? So I really want to read The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. I recently picked this up, I think about a month ago, and this is the first Lucy Foley book I have read or will read, and I'm really looking forward to it for that reason. So this is kind of like a locked room mystery vibe, but it's set in an apartment block in Paris. And basically the book opens with the murder of this man, this person, and basically more people are getting killed in this Paris apartment block, and it's kind of a race to figure out who is the killer. So this sounds so up my street. Like, if there is a type of thriller that I do enjoy, it's like those locked room mysteries or kind of like race against the clock to find out who the murderer is. Lucy Foley is so well reviewed and so loved on BookTube as well, so I'm really keen to read this for like a little bit of a different reading vibe for autumn, because like usually I am a huge fantasy reader. I really love anything magical or like romantic or dark, but actually having a thriller on my TBR will hopefully broaden that out and, you know, diversify my reading a little bit. So I'm really looking forward to The Paris Apartment. The next book I am desperate to read in the autumn is a new release which isn't out yet, so I don't have a copy and I'm desperate for a copy. It is Kingdom of the Feared by Kerri Maniscalco. Now, this is my most anticipated book of 2022 because the second book, Kingdom of the Cursed, just just gave me all the questions, and now I need this book so badly. So this is book 3 in the Kingdom of the Wicked series. It is a historic kind of dark fantasy book with a brilliant romance. It's set in Italy and it is absolutely phenomenal. Like, I need you all to read the series and get Kingdom of the Feared on your wish list, because I am already so excited about this book. I've got it on pre-order and I cannot wait until the end of September when this book comes out. In a similar vein, which is coming out a little bit sooner than Kingdom of the Feared, is Babel by R.F. Kuang. Now, this is going to be, I hope, my book of the year. I've heard incredible things about Babel. I am honestly counting down the days till it's out. I think it's publishing on the 1st of September in the UK, so it should already be out as I'm filming this video. This is set in Oxford and features this kind of part of Oxford University called Babel, which is an institute of translation, I believe, but it's got a magical kind of element to it. So this is described as like dark academia, but with kind of colonialism in mind. Basically dark academia turned on its head and questioned, which I'm really looking forward to. And R.F. Kuang, as the author of the Poppy War series, aka one of my favorite fantasy series of recent times, I feel like she can't do any wrong. Like, I'm really excited to read this, and I've heard amazing things about it. So this is firmly on my TBR for autumn. Next up, we have a book that is the final book in a series, so we'll tick off another series for me and complete another series, because I just feel like I'm the worst when it comes to completing series. This is Gods and Monsters by Shelby Maharin. So I'm sure I'm butchering her last name. Every time I try and say that, I'm like, what is the correct pronunciation? So if you know, let me know down in the comments. But anyway, third and final book of the Serpent and Dove series, and I read the second book, Blood and Honey, and actually was like pretty impressed. Like, I know a lot of people had issues with that second book, but I have a lot of questions, and I think this book will hopefully answer them all, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this series is rounded off. So this is like a year old now, but the paperback just came out in the UK, and oh my god, is this a chunky book. Like, this is over 600 pages. So that's just ridiculous, but I am dedicated to reading this autumn, and I really hope I get round to it, because it would mean the world to me to complete this series. I really enjoyed it so far, so I'm excited. Let me know if you've read and if you enjoyed this book. I would love to know down in the comments. 2 more books on my autumn TBR. The first is Vespatine by Margaret Rogerson. So this has been on my TBR for a little while now, and this is the newest book from Margaret Rogerson, who wrote An Enchantment of Ravens, which is one of my like favourite fantasy romance books. So this is about Artemisia, who is a Grey Sister, which basically means that she cleanses the bodies of the dead so their souls can pass on into the afterlife. And that concept is so cool, very Halloween-y, kind of spooky, and this is the perfect book to read this time of year, I think. So this is all about relics, dark magic, and saints, and I'm really intrigued by this book. I feel like there might also be a romance in this, and I'm really intrigued to know a little bit more about it. So I've had this book on my list for a while now, because Margaret Rogerson, I just really like the way she writes, so I'm really keen to pick this up and see if I enjoy this one. And the final book I have on my autumn TBR, if I can get around to it, is The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Megan Bannon. So this was the Fairy Loot adult box pick for July, I believe, and I'm super excited to read this book. This is like a romantic comedy, but for undertakers, and it's kind of like a dark romantic comedy. So I'm really intrigued by like this book, because it sounds like spooky and quite dark, but then also light-hearted and romantic. So it's a bit of an odd mixture of genres there, but I'm really keen to read this and see what it's like. So it's described as The House in the Cerulean Sea meets You've Got Mail in this quirky, refreshing fantasy with a rom-com worthy twist. And this is supposedly really cute, and about a couple who passes letters to each other, and I'm really intrigued to read this autumn, because it obviously has a magical and kind of gothic twist about it. So let me know if you've read it and what you thought about it, but I'm really intrigued, and I hope I love this book. So guys, that is it for my autumn TBR. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, as I do have a lot more autumn content on the way and you will not want to miss it, trust me. So please do stick around, and I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye.